そんな単純なことでは国は変わらないのだ。俺の邪魔をするな。
Where Denji's brutality as the infamous Chainsaw Man shined not long ago, today it's Gabimaru's determination to return home which has shaken the anime community to its core. We're partly through the year, and already we have seen brawls that redefine what action anime stand for. From the return of the world's strongest sorcerer to the League of Villains running rampant across Japan, these are the most badass anime fights of 2023 so far. When it comes to being a badass, no one fits the description better than Asta. When Conrad, the 27th Wizard King of the Clover Kingdom, escaped his imprisonment to destroy the world in the name of salvation, it was Asta who served as the last line of defense. Conrad's key magic allowed him to harness the powers of other users, so when Asta stood in the way, Conrad unleashed all that he had been storing for decades. In the fight that ensued, Asta fought tooth and nail, but despite being in his black form, Conrad's strength easily overwhelmed him. Stabbed and beaten senseless, it seemed like Asta had lost. But like it always is with Black Clover, viewers once again witnessed Asta's determination. Asta went toe-to-toe with Conrad in his true devil form. The anime also kept up the tradition of playing godly soundtracks, which made the action on screen all the more enjoyable. With the help of his friends, Asta sent Conrad and his plans into oblivion, surpassing his limits and proving yet another time why he will become the next Wizard King. Black Clover's movie may not have continued the story from where it previously left off, but the mind-blowing battle animation and choreography more than easily made it a stellar display of badassery. Heavenly Delusion's first episode is also a highlight of what great fight choreography looks like. A band of thugs intercept Maru and Kiroku, who are searching for a place called Heaven. Kiroku tries to negotiate with the bandits, but that seldom works out in a post-apocalypse. So Maru steps in and goes ninja mode, dodging attacks left and right and throwing hands in return. Maru's quick reflexes and killer punches were a treat to watch, and even though the scuffle lasted less than a minute, it was one of the most badass anime fights of 2023 we've seen so far. Gabimaru's search for the elixir of life on the island of Shinsenkyo led them to its inner region called Horai, where the lords of the island reside, a group of powerful and unkillable beings known as the Tensen. Gabimaru happened to cross paths with one of the Tensen there, and all hell quickly broke loose. Gabimaru wasted no time in roughing up Zujin, and then quickly ended the clash with his fire manipulation, Ninpo. But as immortality is the Tensen's special ability, Zujin caught Gabimaru off guard, leading to an even greater battle. Gabimaru matched Zujin blow for blow and used every skill he acquired as a Wagakuri shinobi. There wasn't any cool music playing in the background like Astra's duel with Conrad, but the intensity of Gabimaru going all out was well worth the watch. Despite Gabimaru not holding anything back, Zujin soon regenerated and transformed into his Kishikai form. He easily overpowered Gabimaru, and if it wasn't for Mei rescuing Gabimaru, he would have surely died. The battle didn't have a clear victor, but Mappa's signature striking visuals and the action itself show what future episodes Hell's Paradise will bring along, and they look stacked with fights that will be just as captivating. Mei, nan no tsumori da. The fantasy newcomer Mashle, Magic and Muscle is another show that has its fair share of fighting, and Mash's scuffle with Silver in the 6th episode was the best reminder of that. Silver was acting like his usual condescending self and started bullying Dot, all of which was alright with Mash. But when Silver accidentally wasted Mash's cream puff, that's when Mash decided he had had enough of Silver's antics. Mash broke through each of Silver's defenses using his triceps magic, and then landed a devastating blow to his face. Silver tried to put up a fight, but Mash's second blow to his gut sealed the deal. Silver in turn had a mouthful of blood, and his pride went up in smoke seconds later when Mash took pity on him. Though you can't say this fight was as fun as some of the other ones we've seen in 2023, even this little taste of Mash's strength makes you wonder what havoc he'll wreak if he ever actually puts in the effort. The next showcase of most badass anime fights of 2023 so far is Jack the Ripper vs Hercules from Record of Ragnarok. The fourth round of Ragnarok had commenced with Jack the Ripper championing the hopes of humanity's survival and Hercules their destruction. As ironic as the choice of fighters was, the matchup between them couldn't have been put any better. The fight between these two bygones lasted several episodes, and each was action-packed. One featured Jack's cruel upbringing and decisiveness, while the other Hercules' kindness and legendary strength. One episode had Hercules losing a limb, while in the next Jack was getting impaled. Repeated exchanges of blows, emotional dialogue, and believe it or not, the occasional cup of British tea to lighten the mood. The stakes couldn't have been any higher either. Jack the Ripper vs Hercules delivered some satisfyingly badass moments, which in our books are the hallmarks of what a battle that determines the extinction of mankind should have. Another fight that was just as riveting in 2023 was Gojo vs Toji. The ex-Zenin clan member / sorcerer killed Toji Fushiguro, blindsided and stabbed Gojo in the back after he had accepted a hit. That pits the world's deadliest assassin against one of the world's strongest sorcerers. However, Toji's unpredictable speed and reflexes made quick work of Gojo. This was the first time in Jujutsu Kaisen we saw Gojo having trouble with anyone, and that's why this fight was so interesting to watch. Gojo ended up losing after Toji landed a killer blow to his neck. But then round 2 began when Gojo blindsided Toji later, and the two continued to battle it out. This time Gojo unlocked the true potential of his powers, and the Sorcerer Killer used every tool in his arsenal. Mappa's crazy good animation once again had viewers glued to their screens. Gojo ultimately overpowered Toji using Hollow Purple, though that wasn't until after the both of them had thrown everything they had at each other. Jujutsu Kaisen was already regarded as the best modern-day fantasy action anime, but seeing how badass the fight between Gojo and Toji was, it just raises peak shonen to a whole new level.
それぞれの無限を衝突させることで生成される仮想の質量を押し出す挙式紫
2023 also saw the return of the Vinland Saga. Though the anime has turned a new leaf with Thorfinn's growth into more of a pacifist, and resultantly his abstinence from raging like the ferocious Viking he was in Season 1, it still did feature many scenes that were just too darn violent not to think of as badass. Hell, Thorfinn finally giving in to his impulses and taking on Snake was one of the best scenes the anime has dropped. Thorfinn landed into trouble with Snake after trying to guard Garda and Arkid's escape, and moments later, a visually stunning fight began. Snake proved to be far more skilled and faster than Askeladd, and that kept Thorfinn on his toes despite his experience. Snake's sword slashes were beautiful as they were fatal, and getting to see Thorfinn take up arms once again felt fulfilling to watch. The fight didn't last long as it was interrupted, but even these minutes were more than enough to kick in the endorphins and make you reminisce on the times Thorfinn fought in the past.
ゴールの全てを出し切れ僕がどうなろうとも
Up until now, we've only talked about one-on-one encounters, and while it's true that all of them from Gabimaru's clash in Hell Paradise to Gojo in Jujutsu Kaisen are some of the most badass fights of 2023, however, what transpired earlier in My Hero Academia Season 6 this year was by far the biggest and baddest of conflicts. It was more akin to an all-out war between the heroes and supervillains instead of a simple fight. Shigaraki and his League of Villains launched an assault on Japan's heroes, and everybody from the new symbol of peace Endeavor to Midoriya, Mirio, and all of UA High was at the front lines. Many fights were taking place at different locations. However, there's no doubt in the world that the most badass one was happening with Shigaraki. Endeavor, Midoriya, Bakuga, Miria, Best Shinist, and innumerable heroes joined in to defeat Shigaraki. It was the ultimate battle My Hero Academia had been building up for the past 8 years.
Prominence!
And the fight that ensued between all of them didn't disappoint in the slightest. Dabi, Gigantomachia, and Nomus, and the rest of the League of Villains arrived later as backup, and the fight just kept becoming more exhilarating by the minute. The animation was top tier, the storytelling even better as emotional ties between Dabi and Endeavor surfaced, and Shigaraki's mass destruction truly made the world recognize him as the symbol of evil. There was no clear victor in the end as both parties retreated. Even so, its after effects sent shockwaves throughout the My Hero Academia universe, which made the rest of the season just as enthralling to watch.
僕たちの願いは今だってつながっている君は今生まれて初めて食べるためにではなく誇りを守るために戦うんだ
If you ask us personally, then we wouldn't say that the most badass of fights are the ones that have magic, superpowers, or wars. Rather, they're fighting in its purest form, which is hand-to-hand combat. And what better example could there possibly be other than Baki? Baki is perhaps the pinnacle of what it means to be a fighting anime. And in 2023, the anime has come back with another hard-hitting season, quite literally. This time, the prehistoric caveman Pickle has come to life after 190 million years of hibernating in salt, and his unimaginable strength, which is capable of taking down dinosaurs, has drawn out the world's best martial artists in hopes of defeating him. And as you would have guessed, Baki is one of them. Baki stepped into the ring with Pickle, provoking him into a fight to which the caveman replied in the only language he knew, pulverizing anyone who dared threaten him with his fists. Baki and Pickle hammered at each other, delivering hundreds of fatal blows, and still kept going out of respect for each other's strength. It was one of the most intense anime fights of 2023, and if you haven't watched it for yourself, then definitely make it next on your list.
死闘決着共鳴来殺彼女さん恋の呼吸3の方恋猫しぐれ
There's only one other anime that takes the cake at having the most badass fight of 2023 so far. Demon Slayer's Swordsmith Village arc brought Tanjiro, Genja, and Nezuko, and the love Hashira Mitsuri in the crosshairs of Antengu, the Upper Moon 4. And as these things always seem to go, another epic clash began, backed by some of the best animation and orchestra of all time. It was a love letter to the manga readers who have been waiting years for the battle to be animated. And for anime watchers, it was miles ahead of yesterday's Entertainment District Showdown.
恋の呼吸2の方報道巡る恋
It was the longest battle that Tanjiro and the others had fought till now, and they had to use everything from sun breathing to Mitsuri's killer techniques. The story felt like it was in top gear, and that the inevitable final fight with Muzan was fast approaching. But in the meantime, beating Hentengu in his many phases was what needed to be done if the Demon Slayer had any chance at success.